Today we were working on 9-6, which is factoring trinomials of the type ax squared plus bx plus c. Today is a little different. Yesterday when we worked on this in 9-5, we worked on the formula x squared plus bx plus c. Today notice that we have an a, so a leading coefficient, a number outside of my first term. Alright, so we take a look here. To understand how to factor ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is a positive integer greater than 1, consider the following. Understand the infoil, so first, outer, inner, last, and it's color-coded down here to help us as well. That we have this first term, 2 times 5, which is 10, x times x, x squared. Outer, 2x times 4 gives me 8x. Inner, 3 times 5x, 15x. And last is 3 times 4. Now, what they want us to do is be able to see this given trinomial and look for my two sets of parentheses. So that is our goal today. And how we're going to do this, because it's not quite as easy as yesterday by finding the factors of this last term, seeing which one has the sum of these two, because this is no longer going to have a leading coefficient of 1, we have to kind of do things a little different and really understand what this is saying. It's kind of tough to see in here, but it's green. So it's the product, your first term, that f, alright, is going to be the product of your first terms of each. So whatever this f1 needs to be for your that first term, you're going to get it from the product of the first two terms in your parentheses. Now, the product, I'm going to skip and go all the way to L here. L is going to be the product, which is going to be your C term, right here, the last one, and it's going to be when you multiply your last two terms together. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, is you got to start adding. Your outer and inner, which you can see here is in blue and pink, is going to be the sum. So it means you're going to add these two numbers, or whatever you get when you do the first and outer, together. And that is going to give you your x's. Okay? Now, to know which sign, so that was a lot of information. We're going to go through some examples, but don't be afraid to rewatch that. Now for the signs that are going to be used for like both addition or both subtraction. And that's what this first one's talking about, and we'll get into other ones later. But if C is positive, that means this term times this term, you need to get a positive number. So in order to do that, they either both have to be positive, or they both, which it says right here, they both have to be positive, or they both have to be a negative, so you can take a negative times a negative to get a positive. So this first thing we're going to look at is when C is positive, so we know they both have to be negatives, they both have to be positives. Now, how do you know which one to use? Well, it's going to come back to this product here. If you're trying to get a positive or negative. So if your B is positive, they're both going to be addition. If B is negative, they're both going to be subtraction. Let's take a look at a few examples. Here is our first example.